I'll be out the way.
Team K2 Promotions and Stella also. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sponsorship is provided by Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Sulman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudi Airlines, New Murabba Development Company, Tawunia, Hunger Station, Lucid Motors, and Al Tanfidi. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, special thanks to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with respect and regards to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, and the chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest title in all of sports for almost 140 years since John L. Sullivan is heavyweight champion of the world. There's nothing that compares to that. From John L. Sullivan to Jack Johnson, to the Brown Bomber Joe Louis, to Rocky Marciano, to Floyd Patterson, Ingemar Johansson, the list goes on and on. To Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, the Klitschko's, Larry Holmes. They're all recognized forever in history for being called the undisputed world heavyweight champion. In about 50 hours, will it be revenge or will it be repeat? Ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing on Saturday night here in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for the heavyweight championship of the world. Let's meet the two warriors at this time. Coming first to the stage. His record stands at 34 victories, 24 big wins by knockout, only one defeat. He's looking for revenge with one draw. He is the heavyweight pride of the United Kingdom, the former lineal and two-time heavyweight champion of the world, the Gypsy King, Tyson! His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, his record stands at 22 fights, 22 victories, 14 wins by knockout. He's an Olympic gold medal champion and the heavyweight pride of Ukraine. He's the former undisputed and undefeated cruiserweight world champion, and now the reigning, defending, undefeated, universally recognized heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk.
Well, thank you, Michael Buffer. Wow. I'll get those big fight feels when Michael Buffer is in town. Let's get a round of applause, please, for Michael Buffer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these two gentlemen met in a ring of fire back in May. And on Saturday night, that ring of fire is reignited. I want to start off by hearing from Tyson Fury, the challenger this time. Tyson, we've spoken a few times this week. I've watched some of your interviews, and you've said it's not about redemption, it's not about revenge, it's not even about regaining those titles. So I just want to know, what is it all about for Tyson Fury on Saturday night?
I'm going to dish out a whole lot of pain. I'm going to put this fucker in the hurt locker for sure.
Tyson, there seems to be an edge about you this week. What's happened? There seems to be an extra menace about you.
I've got nothing to say, apart from there's going to be a whole lot of hurt and pain in this fight you watch. That's all I got to say. Talking's been done. You know, the first fight I talked to Joe, tore my career. This time I'm serious. I'm going to do some fucking damage here on Saturday night. Watch me go to work on this fucker.
Thank you, Tyson. Let's get an opening word from the defending champion, Oleksandr Usyk. And we've heard what it's all about for Tyson Fury. It's about causing pain, causing hurt. What is it all about for Oleksandr Usyk on Saturday night?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends.
Зараз це тільки розмови, все буде 21 грудня в рингу. Зараз шоу, камери, 21 грудня буде все серйозно.
Now we have just a performance, talks, cameras, live, kind of show. Everything gonna be taking place on Saturday night, on the 21st.
Thank you, Oleksandr. I'll be looking to come back to you shortly as well. Let's bring in Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren. And Frank, what a time this is right now. The relationship between Riyadh season and boxing. Give us your thoughts on that, and also you're very much backing your man sat next to you to get revenge.
Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Riyadh. Thank you, Riyadh season. His Excellency, all the teams that have worked to make this such a successful promotion and the previous ones. Riyadh season, you know, it is some event now. These fights get better and better. In the course of, 14 months, we're now in the boxing centre of the world now. This is where all the big fights happen. And the biggest fight is happening on Saturday night, the rematch. The first fight was magnificent. It was a great fight. Had everything. Very close fight. It was a cigarette paper in the decision. This time round, I know these guys have been in the ring. They shared the ring together for 12 rounds. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And it's going to be about who can exploit the weaknesses, who's got the strength to exploit the weaknesses. And I believe Tyson Fury will come through this, and I don't think this fight will go the distance. He's in a great shape, great frame of mind for this fight, fighting mode, and we're going to get an extra special event. Do not blink after the first bell.
Thank you very much, Frank. Well, as you can see, we've got a brilliant card as well. We've got fighters at various stages of their career. There is a young man sat on the end there, Mohammed Alakal, who is representing Riyadh, a real point to grassroots boxing coming through in this country. And this is fight number 2 for you, Mohammed. You did your country proud last time out on your debut on the Besibiev Bivol show. How much are you looking forward to doing it all again?
Thank you. Yeah, I've learned a lot in my debut, and I can't wait to showcase my skills this Saturday. I would like to thank His Excellency for giving me this opportunity and Gold Star.
And you got a tremendous ovation last time. You expecting the same as well in there?
Hopefully, inshallah.
Best of luck to you, Mohammed. Let's move to a fantastic heavyweight fight. Two of the most popular British heavyweights in most recent years. Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen, 10 rounds for the vacant WBA International Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to start with Dave Allen here. I can see a lovely haircut. I can see a bit of a jawline. You look ready to go. Talk to us.
Hello everyone. Just want to start by saying a big thank you to His Excellency and Riyadh Season. This is a dream come true for myself. On a personal note, I've got into career best shape. I was given a fantastic opportunity and it's one I plan to take with both hands.
And also, I've heard you say that your man Johnny Fisher over there, he might be a bit nervous. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, I think so. He should be. I am. We both should be. It's a huge occasion. It's a huge fight. Johnny Fisher, someone asked me last night, you're good friends. I've got a son. If he grows up to be half the man Johnny Fisher is, I'd be a happy man. This is not personal. This is sport. But I'm very confident I will do the job. Very, very confident. And that's not really my character. But I've worked really hard, and I genuinely believe this is my time to finally fulfil my potential.
One more for you, Dave. You've sparred both Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. I am curious. What do you think is going to happen in the main event?
That's an interesting question while I'm sat on this side of the on this table. The two best heavyweights of my generation, I've shared a ring with both many times. I'm a huge fan of both. Everyone knows the regard I hold them both in. I personally foresee a Fury win, but these two are the greatest heavyweights of my time, and I'm so fortunate to be here to witness it in person, and hopefully it can be half as good as last time.
Nice words, and I like that you picked Fury despite being on the Usyk side of the table. Fair play to you, Dave Allen. Let's bring in Johnny Fisher. Dave Allen sounds ready to go. Dave Allen is very, very confident of upsetting you on Saturday night. What's going on in your head, Johnny?
First of all, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to the people of Saudi Arabia and His Excellency for the hospitality that I've received while we're here, and my whole team. And I would expect nothing less from Dave Allen, the White Rhino, to be ready to go. That's what we're trained for. He's had 12 weeks, I've had 12 weeks, but I've been training for more than that. I've been training for 4 long years. And now this is my time to show people what I can do.
So tell me this, Johnny. What happens when you put a rhino and a bull together?
There's a possibility for some carnage, that's for sure. And, a rhinoceros and a bull in the same ring. There's going to be fireworks, and I'm not going to take a backward step. I'm sure he won't. And I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it to make everyone proud who comes and supports me, the people that are travelling over, but also the people that will be watching at home. I'm doing it for all of you, and you give me strength every time I fight.
And are we expecting a big knockout, a big bosh on Saturday night?
There'll always be a bosh, of course, but winning is all that matters. Victory at all costs, and it's an honour to be on such a big card, but I'm aware of what my job is. My job is to beat Dave Allen, whether that's in Saudi Arabia or somewhere back in England or anywhere around the world. It just happens to be on the biggest stage, on the biggest platform, but my job remains the same. Win.
Just a quick one. Have you got a message for Dave Allen down the other end of the table?
Nothing. As he said, he's a good friend, but there's no friends in that boxing ring on Saturday night. We're going to be trading leather. And I'm sure I'll shake his hand before and I'll shake his hand after. But for now, when we're in that ring, we're enemies.
Thank you, Johnny. Let me bring in Eddie Hearn at this point, chairman of Matchroom Sport, sat next to Johnny Fisher a couple of seats down. A couple of things here for you, Eddie. Talk to me a little bit about this fight. And also, I've been watching your interviews. It sounds like you're also the chairman of the Tyson Fury fan club these days. You're back in Tyson to do it.
Yeah, thanks, Dev. Just to echo the words of Frank Warren as well, I think this has been the most incredible year. They say if you love what you do, you'll never have to work another day in your life. And this has been definitely my most enjoyable year in boxing so far. And I don't think myself or Frank or Spencer would have worked the way we have without the passion of His Excellency, because no one is getting myself and Frank Warren up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do a Zoom in our pyjamas like His Excellency. And we do that because we share his passion for the sport. We like money. We all like money. And these fighters deserve as much money as possible. But we feel his energy, we feel his passion for the sport of boxing, and we embrace it. I think it's also important to say the change that we see in Riyadh and the country of Saudi Arabia. We first came here in 2019 for boxing. I think the country's unrecognisable since we came then. And not just through boxing, but the spirit and the energy and the positivity that the younger generation have, and the feeling among the people is something that I'm quite jealous of, being from Britain. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I feel full of spirit every time I step foot in this country. And of course, what they're doing for boxing, as Frank said, is become the central hub for boxing. In an era where Las Vegas and London and New York took that title, now the eyes of the sporting world will be on Riyadh on Saturday night. So, of course, on this fight, Dev, Johnny Fisher is someone that's very important to us. And Dave Allen is someone we're very fond of. Two incredible heavyweights who should be nervous, because this is a platform that they've never been on before, the biggest stage of all. And regarding the main event, as I said to my friend Alex Krasuk earlier, I've got a lot of history with Oleksandr Usyk, but I am backing Tyson Fury, of course. He's the Brit. I've become fond of this gentleman next to me as well, Spencer Brown and the team. And I said before, I said, you're not like, I mean, because he's a good guy. You've got to be kinder to him. He's been your friend for a long time. If you heard the nicknames, and you as well, yeah? So you're going to be nice, and you're definitely not on the fence for this fight. Turki Al-Sheikh is backing Tyson Fury to do the business on Saturday night. The one thing I'll say, people ask me all the time, who's going to win this fight? I'll finish now, Dev. I said this, Oleksandr Usyk is an incredible fighter, and it will take something extraordinary to beat him on Saturday night. But I know we've had our differences. Tyson Fury is capable of extraordinary things. I think his victory against Vladimir Klitschko in Germany, I watched that in a hotel on a laptop in America. I thought he had absolutely no chance. He won every single round. When he fought Deontay Wilder in America, I thought he had absolutely no chance. He was robbed in the first fight. He smashed him to pieces in the second fight. Two generational great heavyweights, two credits to the sport. May God bless you both on Saturday night, but most of all, I can't believe I'm saying it, may Tyson Fury be victorious on Saturday night for Britain and get this championship back.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Oleksandr Usyk here stared at you for most of that, so fair play holding your nerve there. Let's move things along. A brilliant heavyweight fight. It's the co-main event on Saturday night. There is a young man here who many believe that when these fellas retire, when Fury and Usyk are gone and this current crop are gone, this man will be the one to carry the torch forward and be the heavyweight moving forward. 19 years old, Moses Itauma. But he's in tough, he's in deep. Dempsey McKean is by far the biggest test of his career. And we'll start with Dempsey McKean here. This is 10 rounds, by the way, for the WBO Intercontinental and vacant WBA International Heavyweight Championships. Dempsey McKean, now, you've just heard it from me. You've probably heard it all week. All the talks about Moses and what Moses can do and what he's going to go on to achieve. But you are a 6'6" Australian tower, and you got your own plans, right?
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, I'd like to thank His Excellency and the beautiful Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for hosting us, giving us a platform to be able to come here and fight and showcase it all. But yeah, it's all the Moses show at the moment, isn't it? But you know what? I don't mind. I'm kind of used to being the underdog a bit, especially with the Filip Hrgović fight. And you know, I've had a really good training camp. My sparring's been good. Everything's been on point, and I'm ready to disrupt the Moses show come Saturday.
Okay, thank you very much, Dempsey. Let's bring in Moses Itauma. You've just heard from the man who is looking to disrupt the Moses Itauma show on Saturday night. What are you thinking?
It didn't sound believable, I can't lie. But I want to start off by saying thank you very much, Turki Al-Sheikh, for giving me this opportunity to fight on shows like this. Like, listen, I'm just a teenager from Chatham. It's mad that I'm underneath bright lights. I'm on the same table as Tyson Fury, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Spencer, Oleksandr Usyk. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm going to take it with both hands, and I'm living this up as much as I can. It's funny though, like I'm 19-year-old, I only turned professional last year. Dempsey McKean's has double amounts of fights, and yet he's the underdog. Listen, I'm not looking past Dempsey. For me, this is like my world title fight.
Thank you very much, Moses Itauma. Brilliant fight on Saturday night, Itauma against Dempsey McKean. Let's start talking again about the main event. Let's get a trainer's eye from Serge Lapin, part of the Usyk coaching team. And Serge, you've got 12 rounds of data now as a team. What's going to happen on Saturday? Have you had to change much? Give us your thoughts.
Добрый вечер всем. Добрый вечер. Салам алейкум.
Good evening, everyone.
В субботу вечером будет противостояние двух боксеров. И один докажет еще раз другому, что такое настоящий бокс, что такое техника. И
Ladies and gentlemen, so this upcoming Saturday night, we're going to have the battle of two great champions, where one of current champion will prove to the other one that he is the stronger man, and he will perform what real techniques is, what real tactics is.
Усик чемпион, и суббота вечер это все покажет.
Usyk is the champion, and you'll see that on Saturday night.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Serge Lapin. Let's bring in legendary boxing promoter Bob Arum. And Bob, you are very much in the Tyson Fury camp. Give us your thoughts on Saturday night and where it sits historically as well.
First, I want to say to everybody out there that this is the way you speak English, not like my British friends. Right? There's no accent at all. It's all plain syllables. And it's so much of a delight for me to be here in Riyadh, to be with my friend, His Excellency, who we've become really friends, and we enjoy each other, and that's very important. And looking to the fight, I'm not going to talk about great fights and great fighters, because it will be a great fight, and these are great fighters. But I'm not only been Tyson Fury co-promoter, but also I'm a Tyson Fury fan. And if anybody had watched the second Wilder fight, first one, remember, was a draw, and Wilder hit him with a punch that no human being could get up from, and Tyson did. And Tyson, in the second fight, knew what he had to do, and he won that fight in real one-sided way. And I'm looking forward to him fighting in that way and being successful on Saturday night. That being said, he's fighting a tough, skilled Ukrainian. And personally, like many Americans, I'm so proud of his people, the Ukrainian people, how hard they've been fighting and what they've been accomplishing, fighting a much bigger country. And never, never, never count out a Ukrainian. And Oleksandr Usyk typifies the strength of Ukraine, but he's in on Saturday night with one of the best heavyweights of all time, Tyson Fury, and I'm very confident that our man Tyson will emerge victorious. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob Arum. Let's head back to the Usyk side of the table. Let's bring in Egis Klimas. Egis, you have been pretty active actually on social media, hammering home the point that your man's going to get the job done. Tell us why he's going to get the job done.
Good evening, Riyadh. Beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful country. A little bit cold nowadays, but, well, never expected. Thank you, His Excellency. Thank you, people, for organizing this. Listen, Oleksandr Usyk has been the champion on the road. He's a warrior on the road. As you just heard a couple of minutes ago, We all for Tyson. Tyson, we all together. In May here, last few months ago in May, Oleksandr Usyk proved to the whole world when he became undisputed champion of the world, winning against Tyson Fury. At that point, we as a team already fought. We don't have nothing else to prove. We did everything. Every single fight Oleksandr fought, he never fought at home. He fought in UK, he fought in the United States. When we became here to fight in Riyadh, it's always on the road. Now, after he's been already undisputed, we're coming here and we have to prove again, which is no problem. We will see Saturday night, once again, who is Oleksandr Usyk. Thank you, and we will see you on Saturday night.
Thank you very much, Igis Klimas. Well, let's bring in Spencer Brown. And Igis Klimas has made his case for Oleksandr Usyk. What is the case for Tyson Fury?
Well, Tyson's done an amazing camp. He's lived like a monk. As you can see, he's very, very, very focused. He thinks that he's had something taken off him that he shouldn't have, and he wants it back. And on Saturday night, he will get it back. And I just listened to what Bob said about never put down about the Ukrainians. They're great fighting people. They are. But don't underestimate a gypsy man, a travelling man from Lancaster, who's just fighting in his blood right the way through his family. His grandmother's grandmother could fight. His great-great-grandfather could fight. Everybody can fight. They have a great bloodline of fighting men. They are also warriors. So do not underestimate this man to my right. He's very focused, and we believe on Saturday night he's going to bring that belt back to England where it belongs.
Thank you very much, Spencer Brown. Let's bring in Alex Krasik. Alex, last time we had a press conference, you had a lovely short poem for us. I'm curious as to what you have for us, and I emphasise short, here tonight.
Salam alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Besides that it's an honor, it's also a pleasure to be hosted by such wonderful people who we know. Who could ever imagine that a small, common, young kid from Simferopol, from Crimea, one day becomes the two-time undisputed? His dream came true. Our dream came true. His fans' dreams came true. There is a man in the kingdom who has a habit of making dreams come true. Your Excellency, thank you very much. And one more gratitude goes to Gypsy King. We know that he's not very good at making the rematches, but we must admit that courage and bravery lives in his heart. Tyson, thank you for being here. Just one day separates us from the battle and from its outcome. As they say in the wise book, the race is not for the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor to those with knowledge, but time and chance happen to them all. Ladies and gentlemen, let the Lord bless the fighters. May strength and valor accompany them in the battle. Good luck to the both of them, and let the best man win again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex Krasik. Let's get a final word from both main event fighters. Tyson, in 2015, before you fought Vladimir Klitschko, you told him his time was over and your time is now. Before you boxed Deontay Wilder in the rematch, you told him you'd fight fire with fire and go through him. What would you like to tell Oleksandr Usyk before your rematch on Saturday night?
Can't wait for Saturday night. Thank you, everybody involved. God bless.
Thank you, Tyson. And final word to the defending champion. You've been telling Tyson Fury you will not leave him alone. What is your message to Tyson as we head into Saturday?
afraid. I will not leave you alone. See you on Saturday.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. We're going to pose for face-offs just for the main event now, very shortly. Thank you.
So there you have it, that's the final press conference, and that really is the talking done now. They may say a few words at the weigh-in tomorrow.
I ain't got no paper and the missus up me out. Ain't no staying at my mum's because my sister got the shouts.
Players, quite a lot of people on those two top tables, as many promoters, managers and trainers as there were fighters, but from the two main men there, it's in keeping with what we've had this week, because it's been kind of like a crucible this week, hasn't it? It's been intense.
I mean, I'm trying to work out, Andy, what would a delayed, cancelled fight, how many times they've come together on a top table. And I think I'm up to about 7 or 8. That's an awful lot in a 12-month, 13-month period or whatever it was. An awful lot of times that these guys have been together to announce a fight. I don't mean, open workers. I'm talking about actually on a table. I mean, it's at least 6 or 7. That's an awful lot. I mean, most fighters don't go through that many press conferences with opponents in their entire lives. And they've done it together, I think, at least 6 or 7 times. Couple for the first one that fell out of bed, then one for the new one, then maybe one when they were here. This is at least the second time they've done this. The first, so we're on 7 or 8, comfy.
Yeah, no, it must be. It must be. And you can see that Fury just cannot wait to get to Saturday night. He knows he's 1-0 down. He knows that there isn't really too much he can say when that's the score, and he hasn't really attempted to say too much. Usyk had another great entrance there. They're still enjoying this. They're still going to town a little bit. Alex Krasik got quite lyrical. They still got that glint in their eye, Team Usyk, that they always have, like they know something we don't.
And in the past, they have known something that we don't. They've known how to beat whoever it is in the opposite corner. I'm looking at them there. Let me just turn around now. I need to see this with my own eyes. Now, I think that is a harsher, steelier look than we've seen in the past. That looks a little bit more serious than normal. Intent. No one's breaking that, Andy.
No, it's going to be tricky.
No one's breaking that now.
To get them to turn away here, they might need a piece of paper to put it between them so that gaze
This is quite
broken.
fiery, this.
There's just a sense here that...
Yeah, a real sense of something.
Something could happen, because you see the security just gather, and you can feel it. You can feel that whiff of cordite sometimes, that something's about to go off.
And you never felt that at any other stare-off between these two. This is the first time I've been present at one of their stare-offs. It's probably about the full 4/5 stare-off. It's never been this intense. Never.
And it's going to take one of the team members here to convince either one of them that this long stare down needs to be broken. They stared into each other's souls for 12 rounds, didn't they, back in May, and they saw no weakness, and they're continuing to do it now, and they still see
They're still looking, but they've not found it, Andy. This is incredibly intense. It's maybe not going to set records for stare downs, but they've stared down now longer than they've ever done in the past, and it's about as intense as I've seen it. No comedy, no faces, just a glare and a stare.
Neither one is switching even a fibre of a muscle. They are absolutely still. They're like statues.
How long do you leave them, Andy? What do you think?
I don't really know how you go about separating people in this situation. I mentioned a piece of paper you can put between them just to break the gaze, but it takes quite a brave person, honestly, to put their hands on either one of these two in this kind of situation, because they're in the zone here.
Yeah.
They're not really aware of anything that's going on outside of this.
They have no idea. And what's interesting, Alex Krasik, who I would expect to be on Usyk's shoulder, he's not. He's 4 people back. And there's no one close to Tyson apart from Brendan, his personal security. So I'm thinking it's going to be Brendan touches. I'm trying to see the body language of the people surrounding them, which way they fancy going, because this is really intense.
It's amazing, they're not even blinking. It's like looking at a pair of waxworks in Madame Tussauds. And this is important to them now. It's gone on this long. You cannot be the first person to look away.
Absolutely. After 30 seconds with a smile, you can do it. 40 seconds. But this is
We've gone to a different level here. We've gone to a new arena for these two.
Spencer Brown just craning his neck to get a good look over from the far side there. The cameramen staying exactly where they are. Alex Krasiuk just making a
was
motion.
signalling to someone. Did you see that? Was he signalling to Sergei Lapin? Maybe.
And Fury's gone into that place. They both have in this current moment, but in camp as well, he's gone into that place. He's gone for that old school seclusion where he's really just sat in the misery of defeat. He claims otherwise, that he didn't really take time to process it.
Rubbish.
It is what it is.
Yeah, rubbish.
That's not what they do.
Absolute rubbish. You know and I know that's not the case. He's in a hole, he's been in a hole, and it's a dark hole and it's a black hole, and he's been in those places before. He's battled in his head every single moon and every single night, Oleksandr Usyk. He's never going to admit it, but we know it. You can see it in his eyes.
This is amazing.
I wish we'd have run a clock over this, Andy.
How long is this going to go on for? Because, as you said, we've got to the point now, so far past the point of no return with this. Somebody is going to have to look away, and neither one of them is going to give any ground here. It's who gets out of the sauna first. Nobody wants to get out first.
Perhaps we need here, this is when Frank Warren or Bob Arum. Bob Arum's left the stage. I believe Frank Warren has too. So we're left with other people, maybe people that would maybe have a risk stepping in between them. Turki Al-Sheikh left the stage several minutes ago.
I think really he's the only person in this situation who can handle this, because if you're a team member of Usyk or Fury, I would be very reluctant to try and tell either one of them, look, we need to go, because they won't like it. They won't take kindly to it.
And I can see Spencer Brown has now got closer. Krasiuk's moved a little bit closer. Krasiuk and Spencer Brown are laughing. I'm looking at their lips. I don't think they're talking, Andy. I think it's just the face, just the eyes, just the look.
And that's the scene. It's just encapsulated perfectly below that banner. Reignited. Usyk Fury 2. We're a couple of days away. And this week, as we said at the start, we hit the ground running. We were at full throttle straight away because we had the story from May. We had the narrative in place. We saw immediately. We did a sit-downs on Monday, Stephen. Anyone who went anywhere near Fury, you could get the vibe off him.
Straight away.
The aura off him that things were different. Things were different this time. No fun and games. He wasn't relaxed at the start of the week. He just wanted to get down to business. And Usyk has always been that way. He's always been that way. And there's not really anything anyone can do here.
Andy, I think we might be up to 6 or 7 minutes here. I really do. I wish we'd have kept a bit of movement from Fury. Just his shoulders moving. He's not talking, but they are nodding at each other. So they're communicating with their eyes, Andy.
He threw us a feint there, Tyson, didn't he? Just
a little movement, yeah.
And people might wonder why this is important, why does it matter? You don't win a fight in a stare down, that's what people say, but when it gets to this kind of level, this kind of length, now it does matter.
And Lennox Lewis would disagree with you. He said, I'd win my fights at the press conference, at the weigh-in, in the ring before the first bell. Everyone talks about Mike Tyson taking people's souls beforehand. He does it.
Maurizio Sulaiman has just
someone's pulling
to the stage here. Maurizio Sulaiman is getting in the middle of the two of them. I saw Spencer Brown just kind of call him up, and they're trying to use him as that impartial.
They're slightly further apart now, Andy, as well. There are now hundreds of people surrounding, cameras, lenses everywhere, microphones being dropped in. The security are trying to work out an easy exit way. The two boxers are now a foot further apart. Tyson shaking his head. There's a lot of people in the middle. Maurizio Sulaiman is pleading. He's pleading with Usyk, Andy, pleading.
It's been going 7 minutes, I'm told. What they're going to have to do here is they're going to have to make sure these two both reverse out, aren't they? Nobody's going to want to turn around, but if they get them separated by enough distance, eventually they'll lose that eye contact.
But Andy, they're in a standoff, a cul-de-sac of their own emotions. This is not going to be easy to reverse from. They're not going to break into smile, shake each other's hands and walk off and grab a soft drink on the way to their hotel rooms.
Well, somebody's holding up an accreditation there, and I think that was
to try and break the stair.
To try and break the stair. This is where Tyson Fury, being 6'9", is really unhelpful, because if you had somebody the same height or a couple of really big lads, you could get them in there and block his gaze.
Maurizio Suleiman of the WBC, he's now appealing to Brendan, big Brendan, who goes everywhere with Tyson Fury. Brendan's talking back, and I don't think it's necessarily very good what he's saying. No one's going to break these two. They're going to do this until at some mutual point, or worse, something happens.
Usyk's just kind of moving on the balls of his feet there. And people watching might be wondering, why doesn't somebody just get in and break this up? But these are two big men. These are two heavyweight fighters. And when you've been around them during these weeks, and you've done it so many times, and you get towards the business end, and they're flicking that switch, you've got to be careful around them. You have to be
They
careful.
are talking now, Andy. Sorry for cutting across you. They are talking now, and that's generally a sign that we can get somewhere, because the focus, the pure staring, has been broken.
Okay, a handkerchief is out. Somebody's trying to use that crimson handkerchief as a means of, again, breaking the gaze. I think Fury was saying to him there, I'm going to smash you to pieces. But he's got quite a lot to say. Usyk hasn't got anything to say. You're getting annihilated, I'm being told in my ear, is the content of what Fury's saying there.
Well, if they're talking, they can lead to laughter. Laughter can end to this deadlock, this impasse being broken. I'm convinced of it.
Okay, I think
it looks like Usyk's giving him plenty back as well.
I kind of feel for Maurizio Suleiman here, to be honest, because he was dragged up there by Spencer Brown and given the responsibility of sorting this out, and there's not much he can do, really.
Well, the good thing is he's now thought up a new idea. He's going to have a staring belt.
Okay, so Brendan is coming in now.
Now it's getting physical. Brendan's there. Tyson's not liking it. He's not having it at all.
And that's the danger.
Now Usyk's personal bodyguard is getting in between them. He's going to stand with his back to Tyson. We thought it might turn ugly, Andy. We're on the very edge now.
10 minutes. They've been standing in front of each other now 10 minutes. They're just increasing the distance between them, bit by bit by bit. They're just managing to ease him back. But you saw his initial reaction there to his security guard, Brendan, just getting a hold of him. He didn't like it, and that's why you have to be very, very careful, because when they go to that place, when they're in that zone, as Steve said, everything else around them ceases to exist. There's a couple of hundred people in this room. They're not seeing anybody else. They're not seeing the cameras. No. They're not seeing anybody else. They are just seeing each other. But this might be coming to an end fairly soon, I think, but Fury seems to move back closer again, if anything.
The stare down's finished. They've broken away at a distance. Now it's just insults. But it is serious there. It's high velocity on that stage. It's extremely volatile on that stage. Tyson Fury is gesticulating. Brendan, who's a big boy, is at full pelt holding him.
Fury just pointing his finger at Usyk there and wagging it at him in quite aggressive fashion. Usyk now just being backed off a little bit, and I think this might finally be over, but Fury's still got plenty to say to him, and you can see almost here the frustration and the pain of these last few months is just beginning to come out a bit.
That's what maybe we needed on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. I think we've seen a bit of a burst there. Both leaving at the same time.
Well, that's a scene unfolding outside, actually, but the fighters are now in their kind of respective caravans, moving away to each side. Usyk gets halfway up the stairs, turns, gives a salute to the crowd, and Fury is being ushered away to our right-hand side. That was intense.
It was about as intense as I've ever seen that I can remember. It was about as long as I've ever remembered. Tyson Fury's now outside, where there are about 100 Arabic dancers, and he's joined them. He has a stick, he has a cane, he's dancing with them. I think Usyk had the better exit because he's got the stairs. He had the high ground, and in battle, Andy, always take the high ground, fella, always.
But this is interesting, isn't it, watching Fury here, because he's broken out of that cocoon that he was in, that vortex that he was in, and now it's over and he's enjoying himself again. These are two amazing characters, aren't they? You've been around the biggest characters in the sport over the last few decades, but these two guys, we talk about dance partners, they are just made for each other in a sense.
You know what, you stick them in any group, you know, you look for explosive finishes, you look for this, you look for that. They're making the top 5 in every single category you could possibly come up with. And as for being enigmatic, as for being excessive characters, often in very different ways, they're top tier. They're elite. You know, Tyson's an elite character. Usyk, the more you get to know him, the more you understand his humour. You understand he's an elite character too. There's a lot of belts up for grabs on Saturday night. Not just the 3 or 4 they're going to wear in and out of the ring. There's a lot of other belts up for grabs. Of course, the big one is that pride thing. And I think we've seen that tonight on that stage there, Andy. That was serious.
Well, somebody said back in the day, didn't they, that top fighters sometimes they fight for the title of each other. And that's kind of what this is in a way. It was undisputed back in May. It is in all but name again on Saturday night. I wonder, I mean, the adrenaline of that for the two fighters, I know they're used to this kind of thing, but will they sleep tonight? Will that be a problem for them?
Well, I would imagine tonight might be mildly restless, but they've been through this so many times in their lives. Not to this level, that's why I said mildly restless, but they've been through enormous fights, enormous occasions again, both of them, amateur and pro for Usyk, mostly pro for Fury. So he will have a pattern on how he gets to sleep after a confrontation, after a fight. He'll have certain little tricks that he uses. You mentioned something there, Andy. We talked about, you've talked about them fighting for the right to be called the champion of each other, which I think was an Ali Frazier thing from the Thriller in Manila. What's really interesting, and I think quite refreshing, and I don't want to upset too many people, maybe sponsors, but how absolutely the belts have had nothing to do with this week. I know it's not undisputed anymore, but there's still 3 belts up for grabs. They've not been mentioned. They've not been seen. They're not on the top table. Maurizio Suleiman playing mediator there is the first we've heard and had of anybody associated with the sanctioning bodies. And you know what? I like that.
Absolutely, I think we all do. Oleksandr Usyk outside now where Tyson Fury was a few minutes ago, and all of the venues we've been to this week, it's been tight, it's been kind of intimate, hasn't it? Some other times things have been a little bit more spread out and the atmosphere can kind of escape, but everything's been contained. The temperature's been high, even though it was kind of cold last night.
It was freezing, Andy. Stop fibbing. It was freezing.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely I do. I think everything's been a little bit, I'm going to use the word, how about this? It's all been a bit more personal this week. It's all been a little bit closer, not so distant. You feel like you're in the middle of it. You feel like you're in the thick of it a little bit more this week. The open workouts yesterday, even the red carpet, it was all a little bit claustrophobic, and I just felt, it was a bit more personal. And in all fairness, it was slightly less theatrical. I know that sounds like a contradiction in terms, because we were in a theme park with 4 massive jumbo jets, and yesterday we did a press conference surrounded by four pyramids, but you know what I mean.
I do, absolutely.
Somehow that was less theatrical, and it was less theatrical. It was just raw. Can we use the word raw? That felt raw, didn't it? Let's get it right. That felt raw, brother.
It absolutely did. That's the right word to describe it completely. And it was kind of interesting listening to everybody at the top table. Of course, Spencer Brown's going to pick Tyson Fury. Of course, Eddie Hearn's going to pick Tyson Fury as well, to be honest. It would appear that Turki Al-Sheikh is pretty keen on the Tyson Fury win, but that could just be the boxing fan in him. He fancies 1-1 and a third fight. What have you heard about a third fight? Because I spoke to Frank Warren today. He said to me that it is contractual if it goes to 1-1. I've heard Bob Arum has said that it's not. I mean, where are we at with that? I'm getting ahead of myself. But
no, my understanding is it is contractual, and it would go to 1-1. But you know what, Andy? How about this? Even if it was a massively close decision for Usyk, a bit like the last one, which was a tight decision, I thought Usyk won. He needed that extra point in the 9th round from what was given as a knockdown. So what if it's the same fight as that, and Usyk's even 2-up? And Tyson really knows how to beat him in the third fight. I could see there still being a third fight. Assuming they both fight on, I've gone with a bit of a theme this year. You know, that this week, that whole concept of growing old overnight. And you don't know it here. You don't know it on the walk to the ring. You don't know it as you're in the ring. You don't know it when you take your robe off. But you know it in the first 10 seconds of a fight. That could happen to both of them. Now, I spoke to, I'm not going to name them, 3 or 4 major characters who are on that top table. And when I said to them, a really innocent question, do you think there's any chance that one of them could grow old overnight in this? And before I could say fight, they all said yes. Now that really shocked me. So 3 or 4 of the top men on that table all said yes before I'd finished the sentence. Now I don't think they would have said that in May if I'd have asked the same question.
No, agreed. It's something I've been thinking about, because that first fight takes it out of you. It's going to take a chunk off you. There's absolutely no question about it. It's something that's going to take it out of you and take a chunk off you. Just watching it was that face-off. 10 minutes we had with Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk staring deep into each other's souls. And like in May, they saw no weakness. There will be no weakness on Saturday night. We're off for a lie down. We'll see you at the weigh-in tomorrow.